3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, guys. So we're just going to talk through the 2025 training sheet really quickly, some of the new features that we have, and just some of the ways that you can work them. Most of these are going to work good on a laptop. You can't always access all the macros or like the programs from your cell phone, so we'll do what we can. So I'll show you what we have. We have we're starting with our bike training page. Not everybody uses this page. Oops, I don't know why I did that. Not everybody uses this page. Some people just have the gym page and their workouts are on Training Peaks. But this is our bike training page. You'll notice that I have workout A and then workout A notes, workout B notes, and then rider notes. Rider notes are for where you write unavailable. I can't spell while I'm talking. Unavailable, or I'm traveling, or the workout went well. These are the weights I did. These are the speeds I hit, whatever. In the past, it was workout A, workout B, and then notes at the end. I like to have a section for workout B in case we're doing a double, or maybe there's a second option for the day. And this way, you'll have workout, notes, second workout, notes, and then writer notes at the bottom. And then, of course, we still have our weekly feedback, which sometimes we just do verbally. It doesn't always have to go in here, but it's good. Even if you text me and let me know, it's good to put some weekly notes in there so that when we're looking back, it's really for when we look back and we notice you had a really good stretch of performance, we can see how you were feeling. We can look at that. Or if you have a stretch of not progressing, we can look back and say, okay, weekly, you were tired, you weren't sleeping, maybe there were outside factors. So we can look back at those. This section over here that says TBD, this is for your annual training plan. How we deploy those is kind of TBD, but that's going to be, maybe we put focuses in there, maybe we put, and this is for the coaches to put in for you, how many weeks you have till competition, just little reminders for the upcoming week, but we don't really need to touch that. So this is going to be our bike training page, pretty straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary. Then we go to our gym training page. I filled in some fake gym stuff here. As always, your weeks are in the top, so this is from December 1st to December 7th. Just roundabout, right? It doesn't mean you have to work out on the 1st and the 7th. It's just telling you that's the week, which corresponds with these weeks up here, the 1st through the 7th. So that way, when you're in your gym, you can always look at the top here and you can see if you're in the correct week. We've been doing weeks by week 1 of the month is A, week 2 of the month is B, C, D, all of these. Okay, so one of the things we want to look at, we're going to skip ahead to the 1 rep max calculator. The way this works, I've pre-filled some of it out, but let's go back and pick something. Bulgarians. Let's clear these out. Let's go 0, 0. Okay, so let's say I'm working in kilograms and my max is 40 kilograms and I can do it for 5 reps. So that's telling me that my 100% is 46 kilograms. Now, one of the features that we've done here is if I click this and switch it to pounds, it should, there we go, automatically change the weight from 40 kilos, 5 reps, to 88 pounds and 5 reps. It's the same weight, it's the same value, but this way it should be able to automatically switch for you. You're going to have to be connected to the internet for this to work because the macros are programmed on the cloud for your sheet. So if it's not working, it's because you're not on the cloud. But that's going to be this feature right here. You don't really need to touch this. This is really for me. But when we put in our stuff, let's say I would love for you guys to put in your dates. This was January 5th. We do another Bulgarian. I retest January 27th. We're not going to retest that often, but let's just say I did, now we're in kilos. I did 43 kilos for 6 reps, right? That's progress. My 1 rep max went up, 5 pounds or 5 kilos rather. Let's change that so it looks the same. Bulgarian. I need to auto-complete it the same way. So Bulgarian. I would love you guys to keep all of your records. We have this whole row and we have this whole row down here. We keep as much record as possible because at the bottom we have the option, and this is really more for me so I can track, but if you keep each record, then I can go down here and I can click Bulgarian, and it should pull in all of our Bulgarians. And I can see you started at 46, now we're up to 51. It's a nice little way for me to compare. You don't have to use this, but if we don't keep a running record, then we're not going to have that. So if you just went in here and said, oh, now I'm at 43 for 6, and you change the date to the 27th, if we don't have another record, let me delete these. If we don't have this other record, then we're not going to know how much you progressed. I'll know because I know everybody, but it helps us just to make sure that when we go back and review, maybe I don't get people's progresses confused. So it's going to help. It's a good thing for you to see as well. So I'm going to reset this because this is on our master sheet, and we want to have our master sheet be nice and neutral when we start off for everybody. Okay. Let's go back. Reset. The second thing we're going to do, I probably should not have reset all that. Let's go hex bar deadlift. Let's pick kilograms. Doesn't really matter. 200 for 2. Okay. There's a date already pre-filled in there, which is nice. I'll reset this one back to normal. So let's say I want to look at my hex bar deadlift. I'm looking at my percentages. I go back. I look at my gym. I'm referring back and forth. The easiest way to do this now is click your checkbox. And why don't we fill out another one? Let's say we're also doing back squat. For some reason, I have this one in pounds, and I'm going to do 315 for 3. Cool. So these are my lifts. I'm going to click both of these. I'm doing hex bar deadlift and barbell back squat in the same workout. I just fill these in. Instead of referring back and forth and trying to memorize or write it down, anything with a checkbox can get pulled in if you go up to your sidebar. So it should say up at the top of your sidebar in all caps. Click it, open sidebar, and we're going to see on the side over here the lift, whether it's in kilograms or pounds. If you didn't specify, it'll say pick LB or kg, and you'll know that you forgot to put that in there. And it'll pull it up here for you to scroll through. It's infinite. You could put as many as you want on here. There's not going to be that many lifts in one day. And that way you can look at your workout and refer to this sidebar. Now, if you're on the cell phone, this does not work the same way because you can't get these file, edit, view, insert, custom menu options on the cell phone. It doesn't work on the app. And so I'll look for a solution for that. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to trigger that yet in a nice, clean way. But for the time being, if you do work out on your phone, you could pull up your workout and screenshot it with the sidebar pulled up so that it's all right there for you. That's just an option. But when you're on the computer, this is going to be a great way to do it. You can also preemptively on your computer look at the workout, look at these values, and just start plugging in what you need to do. 100 over here. I'm not typing real things here. And you could type in some values ahead of time so that you're reminded when you go to lift and you don't have to think about it. Delete it and update it with what you really did. Okay, so that is going to be our 1 rep max functions. It's updated to switch your units between kilograms and pounds for you and auto complete those. It has a compare feature at the bottom, which is really just for us to compare, like the coaches. And it also has the ability to create a sidebar with anything you click the checkbox for. And if any of these don't work, just let us know and we can problem solve. They're not necessary. The programs, the sheets will be basically the same as last year. These are just extra convenience features. So if they don't work, we don't get the extra convenience, but it still has the core. It still has the information for us. It should work for everyone, but just reach out if it doesn't. So I'll close that sidebar. This was here last year, but let's start using this. This is for any time trial, even if it's an unofficial time trial, like a Skunkworks non-sanctioned time trial. These work. So we have date, race, gear, result, feel, and notes. I put little descriptions just so you know what you're doing, but maybe it was a match sprint race. And if you do different gears in different races, we can have multiple entries. What was the date? I didn't put it in as a click box, but I can make these click boxable so you double click and it'll bring up a calendar for you to choose. But we can also just enter it. It's not a big deal. When did you race? What was the event? Was it a flying 200? Was it the match sprints? You can have 2 entries. So for your race, you can have a flying 200 gear, result, feel, And then for your match sprints, you can say I raced on this other gear, and these are how the races went. So as much data as you can get, the better, because that's going to tell us how your gear felt racing a certain person, doing a certain time trial, etc. If you're doing an omnium, the gear that you use for your elimination might be different than the gear you use for your scratch or your points. So those can be 3 different entries, even though it's the same race. How did the result go? What was the time? Result, I won, I got 5th, whatever. How did it feel? I won, but it felt terrible. It felt too big. Or I lost, but it felt amazing. I think this is right. We can put those in there. And then notes, anything extra that doesn't fit one of those categories. So this is going to be good for us to review. The FTB zone calculator, if you're not someone that's on Training Peaks, which is mostly just our endurance riders, where kind of the endurance metrics are baked into Training Peaks, and we do FTP tests that way. If you're in the sprinter realm, you're probably going to be using our FTP zone calculator. This is designed for us doing a MAP test, maximal aerobic power. Also, same protocol as a VO2 max test. So let's just say that's where you increase your power about 25 watts every minute. Let's say we finished at 320 watts. That was the average of our last minute. And so, maybe we made it 30 seconds into the new stage, which was 350 watts. The average is 320. You look at our data, so we put 320, and it automatically tells us FTP is 240. These are the zones. Sometimes I'll say do zone 5, hold it as long as you can. So anywhere between 252 and 288, hold it as long as you can. Maybe we just pick 270, pick a number, hold it as long as you can. So if we're doing any workouts or endurance type things, these are going to be our zones. If I give you a specific percentage and you don't want to do the math, if I say 170%, which is traditional for Tabatas, we could type in 170. We could also scroll down, because this is, I think, designed to go all the way up to it's pre-filled to 99, but it'll go to anything. So if I go 170 and I plug it in there, it's going to tell us 170% is 408 watts. And we'll just double check that. So let's go. 240 is our FTP times 1.7 is giving us 408 watts. Perfect. So 170%, 408 watts. Maybe I say let's do 88%. Instead of doing the math, you could put in 88. And we're looking at 211 watts, rounded down to 210. Okay, so that's how this works. This is our FTP zone calculator. I'm just going to hide some of these right now so that we don't gum up the sheet right away. Power profiling protocol. We use this for some of our peak power testing. This is a watt bike protocol. We've modified it so that you can also do it on the trainer. So if you're on the watt bike, the warm-up is 4 minutes. RPE means rate of perceived exertion. So how hard does it feel out of 10? 4 minutes feels like a 1 or a 2. The fan is on setting 1 or 2. The mag is at setting 1. RPMs are 80 to 90. Non-watt bike targets, there is no target because it should feel like a 1 or a 2. Just make it feel like a 1 or a 2. Nice and steady. Another 4 minutes. It starts to feel like a 3 or a 5, 3 to a 5. The fan is 3 to 4. The mag is still on 1. RPMs are now 90 to 110. Again, you're not going to have a fan or a magnetic resistance or a setting if you're on your own trainer, but it's going to have the same feel. 90 to 110 RPM, and we're looking at 3 to 5 RPE. Then we start getting into our sprints. 6 seconds, as hard as you can go. The fan's at 6, the mag's at 1. These are if you're on the watt bike. RPM is as fast as you can pedal because it's a max effort. The non-watt bike target, the gear and the resistance that will get you about 170 plus RPM. So a fast RPM. And if you can't hit 170, you just get as close as you can. It's a rolling sprint, so you're not doing a standing start into it. And so that's how we follow these. You could see, the fan and the mag use the guidelines. And the guidelines are sprint A, sprint B. Sprint A is... Oh, I see what we're doing. So for the 6 seconds, we're doing a sprint A, then we do a sprint B, and there's an optional sprint C. And there's ways to judge what kind of resistance you want to use. If you got over 170, you're going to add a little bit more. And the third one is optional, and we follow these recommendations. So same thing. that we do on the watt bike. It's going to be basically the same protocol on a trainer, just with slight adjustments. So if you have any trouble reading this, reach out, let me know. But this is going to be the general UCI peak power testing guideline. And then we put our results in here. It's designed to, you put your peak watts in, you put your RPM, you put your notes in, you put your weight over here, and you can pick whether your body weight's in kilograms or pounds, and it'll automatically tell you watt per kilo, etc. Double click for dates. So you double click and add a date. This is just going to be so that we can track not only is your peak power going up, but like what are your watts per kilo doing. Um, so um, the maximal aerobic power test, we have some spot to put some results in for here too. So it's pre-filled out to say 375, but I'll take that away. You put your best 1 minute average, you put your body weight, and it'll create a watt per kilo for you. We put the date so we can see how it changes over time. So we'd love for you guys to use that. Again, it's not necessary. We can when we test, if you update your FTP zone sheet, it'll give you a value. You could train off of that, no big deal. But if we keep track of it over time, then it tells us what's working, what's not working, and we can figure out if that's important or not. Let me hide this. Let me hide this for now. Okay, now we're getting into the last couple things. So we're looking at VBT plus jump. This is some testing. So VBT profiling, which we will do periodically. We really only test VBT on the back squat, but I do have it populated with leg press, belt squat, or other, just in case you're someone that doesn't back squat. We have some athletes that just do belt squat for their backs, or they just do leg press. So it's set up for those, but I've pre-filled it out as back squat because that's going to be the standard. Underneath that, we have some gym testing metrics like a Bosco index and an RSI testing. That's really for me when you test in the gym for me, and I can track that over time. And I might ask you to do that on your own if you have the equipment, but we don't need to worry about that. You click these links on the side and that just jumps you down there, but we can forget about that for now. The way this works is, again, I'd love for you to click a date. We're looking for somewhere around 1 meter per second is going to be what we want to start our profile at. So that might be 80 kilos. And let me put that in here. We're going kilos. And then I'm going up in weight, which will slow me down. So maybe my next one is 0.88. So let's say this was 0.99. It's not quite 1 meter per second. So that's why we have meters per second and actual speed. What did you actually do? How close are you? And then we're coming over here. I did 0.88. And this was at 95 kilos. I'm just making these up. And then I go up to 110 kilos and I'm at 0.7, but it was actually 0.69, let's say. And it goes on like that, right? And let's just say I get all the way down to 0.4 and it was 150 kilo at 0.38. So this is just so that we can look back over time and see, are we hitting the same weights at faster speeds, or are we at the same speeds going heavier, etc. This is also set up that if I switch from kilograms to pounds, these numbers should change. So it went from 150 to 330. So we go back to our pounds. It'll go back to, sometimes it takes a minute. Oh, there we go. I think I was clicking the wrong button. I was putting it back in kilograms each time. So look, 150 kilograms is the same as 330 pounds. We go back to kilograms again. There we go. Sorry for that. I lost my mind. And it would be great if we saw, oh, this time it was actually 0.42 and we were at 150 or 152. So a little bit heavier, a little bit faster than before. So we can start to compare. That's what these are for. So let me reset these back to choose your unit, delete these. So you guys can fill these out yourselves. This is only if you have VBT or a velocity-based training device. Not everyone has this, but this is going to be one of our profiles that we use. It has unit switching. That's our big update for this one. The last thing we're doing, readiness tracker. This is for jumping. This is if you have a jump bar, jump tracker, laser jump system. Kaylee just walked in. You can see her. Hi. Um, so for the readiness jump, ideally we're using a jump bar. OVR makes a great one. It's a laser jump bar. But you can also use your cell phone. They have cell phone programs for this where you put it on the floor, you jump, and it tells you how high you jumped. So if you need to reach out to me and figure out how you're going to measure your jump height, we can do that. Um, but let's look at the instructions here. Enter the best height for the day in inches or centimeters, but always use the same metric because we're not going to do unit switching between the two. It's either inches or centimeters or meters or whatever it is, use the same metric every time. Um, the difference between the cell phone and the computer is that there is no enter button on the cell phone for you to enter into a cell. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let's just say, however you're jumping, this is how we do our readiness. You'll start getting results on the 5th jump. So we jump, and this day you get 25 inches. The second day we just hit enter, 24, and I hit enter. And then the day after that, I get 26, enter. So none of this is really giving me any results yet because I need 5 jumps. And then we go 24 again. And now I'm on my 5th day and I do 23 inches. It's going to be the lowest I've done yet. I hit enter and you'll see it comes in red and it'll say anything that's red is danger. Now, red is danger, yellow's okay, light green is good, bright green is great. That's going to be true all the time underneath height history. On the chart here, it's going to start the key, red is danger. Let's just go with 24. So 24 is yellow, but right now it says yellow's okay, even though yellow is technically, I'm sorry, that's actually correct. One second. Let's go 27. Sorry about that. So 27 is going to be bright green. It should be great, right? Here on the chart, it's saying that light green is great, but that's just because we haven't filled out all the parameters. There is no light green yet, or there is no good, so it's making the great good. You don't really have to worry about that. Eventually, when you get enough data, it will start giving us all of the, let's go 25. It'll start giving us all the colors on the key here. 26. Wow, it's taking me a while to get a light green. There we go, light green, 27, light green. And now we see NA, not applicable. These are for your first 4 jumps. Red is danger, yellow's okay, light green is good, bright green is great. So you just have to make sure that there is a number for every color before it starts populating the chart for you. Again, the chart is just an extra. It's just an add-on to help make it a little bit more visually contextualized so that you can see how your jumps are doing over time. These dates, I put them all in on the same day, so there really is no date delineation. But if I just alter it today, just so that it looks like every jump was a new day, we'll look at, you can see all these different days. We're getting jump, 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 and you can see them change over time from the 7th all the way to the 15th. Okay, cool. So that's going to be the big overview. It's 25 minutes of an overview for our new 2025 sheet. Take a look through this. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And if you have any problems and these aren't working for you, just reach out and let me know. But we've tested it a bunch. That's why we're a little bit late rolling them out. And so just let me know. All right. Happy training. Happy New Year. And I'll see you guys soon.